Okay, today's learning should also be a supposed for Refuah Shlema for Yisrael Yosef ben Leah.
Amen.
And also for the victim, I don't know if you know about the attack this morning in Israel.
Attack this morning?
There was terrorists in Yerushalayim.
Sure.
Yeah. And honor memory, honor the victims injured, memory of those who did not survive. Look on the news and see.
Okay.
Put 'em on television.
We were up to Perek Vav, Mishnah Gimel, the third Mishnah in the sixth Perek. Al davar she'in gedula min aretz, something that does not grow from the ground. Omer Shehakol, you make the bracha of Shehakol name dvarim. Al ha'chaimitz, on vinegar. Al ha'noivlis, on unripe fruits that fell off the tree and will never fully ripen. Al guvai, or grasshoppers. Omer Shehakol, these are all things you make a Shehakol on. Al ha'chalav, on milk. Valagvin and cheese, valabeitzim and eggs, Omer Shehakol. Yehuda Omer, no. Kol shu min klal, anything that's inherently a bad thing.
Which one are we on?
The third Mishnah in the sixth paragraph. It says anything that's a min klal, anything that's something that's a curse. It's like vinegar, which is really spoiled wine, or noivlis, which are fruits that will never ripen, or guvai, or grasshoppers, which are bad for the crops. All those things you would not make a bracha on at all. In Mavarch and Leah, you don't make any bracha on them at all. Okay, Mishnah Dalet. Ha'ilaf haminim harbe. If there are a lot of different types of fruits in front of somebody, Rabbi Yehuda says, if there's one of the 7 species, one that Eretz Yisrael is praised for, wheat, barley, grapes, olives, figs, pomegranates, and dates, he would be mavarach alav. Those would get priority for a bracha. No, mavarach izmim shiur to make the bracha on whichever one it is that you want to eat right now. Okay. Mishnah Hey. Birich al yayin shlifnei hamazon. If you're at a sort of meal where the plan is you're going to drink wine before the meal, during the meal, after the meal, so if you make a hagafen before the meal starts, like we traditionally do on Shabbos and Yom Tov, so, if you make a bracha on the wine that's before the meal, and that bracha will exempt the wine after the meal, assuming it was you had in mind at the beginning of the meal that knowing that there would be wine even after the meal. Or birach ala parparis shelfnei hamazon. If you made a bracha on the parparis is the side dish that's before you bring out the bread. So if you have something like an appetizer, that would also pater prepare shlachar mazon. If they're going to bring more side dishes after the main bread meal is over, that would also be patered by the bracha one would make on the first course. Birech al pas, if you make a bracha on the bread, pater parparis, that will pater all the side dishes. This one's even if they're not the same bracha. But al parparis, if you made a bracha on the side dish, loy pater sapas, it won't exempt the bread, even if the side dish would be mezonos, that's still not going to exempt bread. Beis Shammai is more stringent. They say afle ma'ase kedera, if you make a bracha on a mezonos dish, it won't even pater a different type of mezonos dish. If you make it on a baked mezonos item, it will not exempt a cooked porridge type of mezonos item. And we don't go like Beis Shammai, obviously. If you make a bracha or mezonos on something, paters everything else that's mezonos. Halacha vav.
So over per he does not exempt the bread. What
right. So if you make a bracha on a side dish, let's say rice.
Right.
So if you making mezonos on rice, you still need to make a bracha on the bread if you want to eat bread with it.
Yeah, okay.
If you make the bracha on the bread, you would not need to make a bracha on the rice.
During the week, if you're having wine first, that covers everything, even during the week, right?
Right. Wine covers other drinks, right?
Right.
And like bread covers other foods, yes.
When does wine cover other drinks?
When it's generally wine is the umbrella bracha for drinks like Hamotzi is the umbrella bracha or bread is umbrella bracha for fruits.
Yeah, really. Even on Shabbos?
Yes.
On Shabbos make Hamotzi.
It's on Shabbos. It's less relevant. Hamotzi also covers drinks, so it becomes less relevant on Shabbos.
I was told. That's why I thought for years, and I was told
there are opinions that don't like it and don't want to cover drinks with
okay.
with kiddush.
What did you hear, Bob?
There are
Doing
opinions
for
that like,
kiddush.
if you make kiddush and you have a
Kiddush.
little bit of wine, they want you to still eat a shehakol something
Yeah.
before you drink your soda or water because they're not sure
Right.
that the kiddush will pop
Right.
out.
Alright.
Mezonos or
But
something
if it's
like
not
that.
Shabbos,
Extra
if
piece.
it's not Kiddush, does wine take precedence?
So it would have to be part of the same meal still. So if you
Yeah,
are
yeah,
right,
yeah,
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 so
yeah, yeah.
I believe yes.
Okay, all right.
Okay, Mishnah Vav. Hayu yoshvin lechel. If they were sitting down to eat, which in their times was a less formal type of gathering, right? By their formal gatherings, they would lean, they would lie down on their side all the way. If they're just sitting up and sitting together, so then kol echad v'echad mevarach la'atzmo. It's not such a formal gathering. Each one would make their own bracha. Hisibu, if they're actually leaning down and lying down, then echad mevarach l'kul, and then it's a more formal gathering where they're all getting together. Then one person would make the bracha for everybody else and patu them. With the exception of balem yayin b'seicha mazen. If they did not have wine at the beginning of the meal and the wine came in the middle of the meal, then kol echad v'echad mevarach la'atzmo. Then even if they're leaning and it's a more set and more official sort of gathering, still each person would make their own bracha. One, because everyone's busy eating, and they're not really. We're worried they might not really be paying attention to the person who's making the bracha because they're eating. And two, because they're eating, we don't want them to answer amen to somebody else's bracha while they have food in their mouth because we're afraid that they might choke. So better each person, when they get their own cup of wine, make their own bracha. La'achar mazon, but if everyone's done eating and then the wine comes, then echad mevarach l'kul, and then there's no problem. One person can make the bracha and exempt everybody else. V'hu oimer al hamugmar.
That's birkat hamazon.
No, this is just hagafen, which we do by berachos and mazon, but it would be relevant if everyone decided they wanted to drink wine after the meal.
Oh.
So one
I
person
hear,
could
I
make a
hear.
hagafen and be motzi everything like we do by kiddush or benching.
Gotcha.
V'hu oimer al hamugmar. That same person who made the bracha on the wine, he would also make the bracha on the incense. Apparently their custom was at the end of the meal they'd bring some incense to give the room a good smell. So you need to make a bracha on besamim, depending on what it is. So the person who made the last bracha, he makes the next one. Even though the mugmar would only come after the meal, so it's not really so connected to the meal, still, once you honor somebody with making one bracha, they keep going, which it comes up in Hilchos Rosh Hashanah that we say that the person who blows the first 30 shofar sounds, we have him blow the rest of them, just because once the person started doing the mitzvah, even though the two really aren't so related, we give him the honor of continuing. Okay, let's stop here.
Shehakol.